Wow. Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. What a shootout we just witnessed. The Los Angeles Rams pulling it out against the Kansas City Chiefs 54-51. A duel between two young studs, Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff. Guys, look, first off, this guy right here, see this guy right here? He's a bad boy. He's only going to continue to get better under the tutelage of Andy Reid. And you see what Sean McVay has done with Jared Goff. Very impressive game tonight. And you know what America witnessed? America witnessed another week of Big 12 football. And look, I cover the Texas Longhorns on this channel pretty heavily, and I'm a Big 12 football guy. Watch our conference week in, week out, and we get ragged on repeatedly for years, whether it's guys coming out in the draft or just not being taken seriously as some of the other Power 5 conferences in the rankings because we don't play defense, because you see games like we just saw tonight. But what everybody's talking about, whether it's social media, which you'll see tomorrow on all the debate shows, was this one of the greatest regular season football games we've ever seen? Most points scored Monday night. I'm curious to see what the ratings will be and just what the conversation will be tomorrow. But I'm going to defend the Big 12 right now. This is what, and those of you who are fans of Oklahoma State, all Texas Tech, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Football can be played in a myriad of ways. Those of you who are Big Ten fans, you guys have more of a Midwestern smash mouth football, in the box type of style. SEC, obviously, defensive laden with speed on the back end of their secondaries and whatnot. They're pass rushers. But the Big 12, we're known for quarterback play, passing, catching, and that's what the NFL is shifting to. When you look at what happened today, and the Pac-12 as well, I mean, it was an incredible shootout. It looked like Mike Leach versus, Mike Gundy or what, these old school Big 12 shootouts, and it was a blast to watch. But it was a familiar product for those of you who are Big 12 fans. So the next time you hear somebody bumping their gums about how the Big 12 doesn't play defense and all this type of stuff, remind them of this game. And by the way, speaking of this game, there were still 3 defensive touchdowns. And just because you have a high-scoring game doesn't mean that defense is completely obsolete. How did the game end today? Defensive play. Game changers in this play. Or game changers in the game, whether it was the strip fumbles or interceptions. I think we had 3 defensive touchdowns overall today. You see that in the Big 12. There are guys in the Big 12 that make it to the NFL and are impact players. So it doesn't mean that defense is completely obsolete. It just means we have to go against high-powered offenses with great offensive minds, super creative concepts, and outstanding quarterback play. That's what we see week to week in our conference. That's why, as a Texas fan, it's refreshing to be back in the mix because we actually had to go out and hire an offensive-minded head coach and get the quarterback to at least compete. And we're at the verge of going to a Big 12 championship game, and I think we're like 6th or 7th in our own conference in offense. And we have a guy who one could argue should be in the Heisman discussion. That goes to show the proficiency that we're seeing across the board with these offenses. And you're seeing that in display in the professional game. These plays look very, very familiar. A lot of the motion, isolating guys in man coverage, exploiting matchups, just throwing and catching at that point. And Patrick Mahomes is a big part of this because he's the case study. He came from that pass-happy spread quarterback, and he's dispelling a lot of those stereotypes and notions. And even though they took a loss today, and I know they took a loss in their primetime matchup against New England, you look at those games, 51 points tonight, 40-something against New England. This man has 6 touchdowns tonight. And I know he had 5 turnovers and all that. But overall, almost 500 passing yards. Look at Jared Goff. Jared Goff's another guy we got into a shootout with when he was at Cal. And you look at the coaching that these teams have done. I just listened to Booker McFarland talking to Scott Van Pelt about these organizations getting a coaching staff and getting talent built around these quarterbacks and what they can do, not what they can't do. And building from there. And you seeing two young guys playing with confidence. You know what they're going to look like? You see how Drew Brees is, being so long being with Sean Payton. That's why the Saints are just straight up murking everybody in the league right now. That's the type of relationship that you're seeing being developed with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Jared Goff and Sean McVay. So as an NFL fan, just teams aside, but just as an NFL fan, a fan of football, I'm excited for the offensive game. Welcome to 2018, some of you. Those of you who prefer the Big Ten style or whatever, smash mouth, 2 tight ends, fullback and all that, you better get with it. You better get with it because a new day is here and the NFL is going towards Big 12, even Pac-12, because Pac-12 is kind of like that as well. They're going towards that model and that style. And you look at even some of these high-powered teams, whether it's Clemson or Alabama, they're running more spread concepts, more RPO stuff. This is a recurring trend. And we saw, this is a game where it'll be talked about for years. It's up there with, people still talk about the 1985 game with Dan Marino defeating the Chicago Bears. That's the level of historical relevance that this game has tonight. So just wanted to get my quick reaction. Unbelievable. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think. But I'm just here to defend my Big 12 because that's what we just watched tonight, guys. Without a doubt. But Steve here, over and out. Like, share, subscribe. Appreciate y'all.